Oof, I was a bit worried that my mic settings were a little bit weird, but I think we're good. I think we're good. We're gonna go to camera. Hello. Oh look, the junk's still behind me. I'm getting better. It'll be gone by the end of the weekend, I promise. Hey guys, how's it going? We are back again working on our FPS template. Last time had a bit of drama, but we managed to overcome that bug, and we're going to keep working on it. And just keep plugging away at cleaning up that project so that it's a lot easier to work with in the future. So let's get into it. Here we are. I removed the bars around my camera vision here, so you can see a little bit more. I can also like move it, right? I can move it, right? Well, I could. I don't know what happened to my keybinds. I can change the mic volume really easily, but the yeah, I don't know actually. Don't know what happened to those. Oh well, doesn't matter. Not important. Oh, you know what it is? I changed cameras, so those aren't going to work because they're bound to the old camera, which is no longer around. But that's a good thing. So this music's a bit weird, eh? I'm not digging it. Let's just go back to jazz. I dig the jazz. Although I can't hear it that much anyway. Hopefully now. But let's go. Okay, so one of the biggest problems that I had last time that we were on stream together was that number one, the animation for one of the weapons was just wrong, and it just led me around in circles for like probably an hour, maybe even longer. And it really had nothing to do with the refactor, I don't think. It probably had more to do with, at some point during the project, I made that or redid that particular weapon resource, and, you know, I just did it wrong, and it sent me on a wild goose chase. We figured it out, and, you know, but one of the biggest issues that I was coming up against is that as I was renaming the variables for the weapon resource, the animations were disappearing from the resource because, I don't know, Godot just be like that. So we are going to try to come up with a smarter way of doing that because I don't want to have to redo all the weapons. Mind you, there's only 4 at the moment, so it's not a big deal, but, you know, it could be better. So I'm thinking I could probably open up those resources in a text editor and just have that information, and when I rename them, they will still be readable, or maybe I'll save them in a separate text file. I don't know. I'm going to think about that right now. So if I go to my folder, obviously you guys can't see it, just in case. Godot FPS template. I think it's going to be under player controller. I've got it right here actually. It's under player controller scripts and player character weapon state machine, and then weapon resources. And if I open with code, right? Like we want, it's probably the best thing. Not that, this. All right, so I can see now I've got string references. So now I can take this and I can create a new file with nothing in it and just keep them there. So now I know the name, and I can just go through these one by one. So that's going to be the way that I decided to do it. I don't know if it's the best way. It's a way to do it. We'll roll with that. I can't hear any music. Is there no music? It's all right. Doesn't matter. Blaster L wants me to confirm to open up with code every time. I don't need that first bit. Alrighty. That one. And the last one. So now I'm going to have this, so I can go through and I can rename all these animation variables without worrying about what happens to them as we go through it. So that sounds pretty good. Alrighty, how are we all doing? I don't want to have the Twitch open. We go to the created dashboard. Sorry guys, I'm just getting organized. Alrighty. Back to the grind. Let's get amongst it. Okay, so I'm going to move this over to the side so you guys can't see it. It's boring as heck. And let's get back to the weapon resource. Now, I was choosing better names for these particular variables because I found, well, number one, the casing isn't to spec, and because this is a asset that is available on the asset library, I just want it to be to spec. And that's pretty much the goal here. Like if this was a personal project, I don't know, who cares? No one cares, right? Like name them whatever you want, as long as you know what they are. But because this is something that I'm putting out there, I want it to look good. And at the time that Godot just crashed. At the time that I made these resources, I just didn't know, or if I thought I knew, but like, I guess I'm not a trained professional, guys. I'm a fucking moron. And I was just going off what I felt was good. And yeah, we're just going to rename them. There's not really any reason just to make them to spec. So I think shoot an M. And so what we're going to do is I'm just going to go control is edit. And we're going to replace in files so that it gets replaced all throughout the project. So shoot an M. We're going to change that to lowercase. And I think I'm just going to make animation. It's the full name of it. We're going to match case just in case. And that's it. We'll do that. And it's going to come up here and it's going to give me, you know, a nice little list of different places where it's being pulled up. And so this is a good chance for me to sort of see if the places where it's going to get replaced make sense, and potentially it's pulling up something else. But I can see here current weapon slot.weapon.shoot an M. So it's pulling up basically every time on the resource. So I know that it's working on the resource, which gives me the confidence to press this because there's no undo. And then the following are newer on disk. So we are going to reload them. And that should be good. We don't have multiple open. I haven't seen that error before. Okay. And we're just going to go through the animations, I think, to begin with. And we'll just get, then we'll just set about like fixing them up in the actual resources. So the next one will be this. We'll go edit. We want to go search, replace in files, reload a name with reload animation. Okay, and we'll press that and we can see it's all just querying the weapon, the reload animation, the reload animation. Okay, and then we can replace all and reload. Okay, next, we'll just go down these files, replace in file, change, we'll go animation and replace. And that all looks good. It seems like it's the same spots every time. We'll go to the next one. Keep clicking in the wrong spot. Replace in files, drop an M, drop animation. Replace, drop, export, drop, weapon, drop, happy, reload. Okay, I still keep clicking the wrong place. Replace in files. Out of ammo, animation. Okay, replace and replace all. Reload. I thought these would be like more present in the file, but it really seems like they're only being called up like once or twice in the weapon manager, which is pretty interesting, to be honest. Excuse me, I just need to adjust that. So replace, I meant to change that to animation. And yeah, it's just here, no problems, replace all. Okay, so that's all the animations updated. So now we're going to go back through and simply update the animations on the resources because they're all gone now, which is kind of annoying if you're doing this kind of like renaming, refactoring, because to be honest, like this is kind of a bit tedious if you ever want to change variable names like I do. So all right, we'll go back. And where's that file that I've got? So we're working on Blaster Eye. I can come down just so you guys can see what I'm working on. I've got a VS Code here with all the data that was originally there. And we can look for Blaster Eye here, and this is the names of everything. So I can just go down and just copy and paste. I'm just going to put this in a nice spot that's sort of out of the way. And, oh, that was already there. Not that this is like particularly quick, but at least it's better than having to go back through and check what animations are what. And it'll hopefully reduce the amount of errors that I encounter when I do this. But we'll replace all these animations and then we'll come back and just make sure that it's still running properly. And hopefully we don't run into like a whole debug situation like we did last time and end up spending an hour just to find out that one of the animations was incorrectly named. Okay, so that's that one done. Let's go to Blaster L, Blaster N, Blaster M, Blaster N, Blaster I. What? Oh, I saved Blaster N twice. Oh, that one. They're both called Blaster N. Okay. Yes, I see that now. All right, well, we'll just roll with that then. Okay. I wonder why. A strange choice by myself, by my past self. Do you ever wish you could go back and like just ask questions like, what the heck were you thinking? Like, what was going through your head when you made this? But unfortunately, we can't go and curse out our past self for making such lazy choices. Blaster M. This is the one that caused tons of issues last stream. I went through and I made a short where I just like clipped all the parts where I said I don't know. It was so many. It actually didn't fit. I had to cut a few out. But yeah. So if you want to go see me just like curse out this project for like a minute straight, that's coming out in the next couple of days. But you know, that's just life. It just happens sometimes when you can't figure something out. And it's like, you kind of know that it's something like that. Like I think I said a bunch of times that there's no possible way that it relates to the code and has to be the animation. But I never actually sat down and checked the animations. Like if I had done that once I had decided that that was the reason for the problem, then I probably would have figured it out way quicker. But I didn't. So, I mean, that's just life, isn't it? You gotta learn those lessons. Okay, last one. Blaster_N. The active is still in there. I wonder if I've stuffed any of these up because I'm not paying attention. I'm just yapping. But it's good. I like it because essentially, like what I used to do before I was streaming, because I couldn't stream, because my internet sucked, now it doesn't, is that I would just like have something. Just I was watching like One Piece, or I was watching the Fallout show, which was really good, but like you get less work done ultimately because you're watching TV in the background. Okay, so that's everything renamed. I don't know. Let's see if it's broken. This is the one that was causing trouble. We can drop it. Can we pick up all of these weapons? Can we change them? Can we shoot? Where's the other weapon? Here it is, here. This one looks good. I really like the spray pattern on this weapon. Probably my favorite. We can drop it. We can drop it. Well, obviously we don't have anything to drop there. Let's see if we can drop it. We can drop it. Excellent. And we've still got a bunch of printouts and a couple of errors. So, animation not found, blaster M melee. Melee? I don't know how to pronounce it. Something like that. And then it can't connect a signal, probably because I renamed it. Update overlays. Oh, crashed again. What a nightmare. All right, well, we'll figure that out and we will get back to it. And this is obviously not playing anything. Night on the Docks could not be played. Alright, now we've got a little bit of background music to keep me company. We'll keep going. Alrighty, okay, so next, it looks like one of the... Oh, it's gone now. Let's run that again, because it crashed. One of the weapons didn't have an animation set. This one here doesn't work. Let's see if we can fix that. So it's saying that the error is animation not found, blaster M space melee. So I would say that it's more likely to have something to do with the actual resource setup than it did have with my refactoring, simply because that was copy and paste. So I'm going to jump into the animation player and just check what it's called here. It's blaster M, and I think there was like a space. If I look at, hang on a second. Are my glasses in this? Yeah, they are. Whoops. Chat, I'm going blind. And it's a problem. Because I can't see anything on the screen. It's too far away. Yes, there was a space there. Okay, let's go pick this back up. And looks like we're good. And then I think the other error we had was from this. We were getting something in relation to the HUD. I don't know what, though. It's not present anymore. It seems to have gone away. I will just, we'll try not to think about it too much. Just ignore it. We know it's there. We're not going to worry about it. Okay. So that's great. That's how smoothly things should have gone the last time, you know? Okay, so the next set of variables that I want to look at is the ones right below that, which is all the weapon stats. Oh man, I closed VS Code too. Bring that back. It's not called VS Code, it's just called code. Don't know why they, okay, so it's still there, because I'm fairly certain these variables are going to disappear as well. So let's start with this one, obviously, because it's just next in line, and we'll replace in files. This is a little bit more simple because we can just go C and A and then replace. And then we're going to go current ammo, export var current ammo. I don't like that actually. Search, replace in files. I should have gone to match case because I'm guessing there are other variables. Replace, okay, so Current ammo is only called up. Oh, this is not used anymore because I've actually like fully removed this from the weapon resource and sits in a different variable now. So I think magazine is still used, but these two, I'm just going to comment them out for now because I don't think I need them here. And instead we'll just go down to the magazine because I'm pretty sure this still is in use because the system still needs to know like how much ammo is in a single magazine. So I'll go replace some files, magazine, and I wouldn't want to call it current ammo. That would be very confusing. Magazine. And we'll just go replace. Yeah, I think that's going to be fine. Let's have a look. So we've got a bunch of stuff. Weapon.magazine. Yep. Looks all good. Let's do this. Max ammo. Search. Replace some files. Max ammo. Replace. Yep. Only being used twice. It really gives you some perspective. This, I suspect, to have more issues trying to replace it. Replace. Okay, so we've got damage 0. So the bullet has a damage variable too. So, I mean, we do need to rename it. It should be fine. And then we've got the weapon damage. The damage the weapon will do, export var. This is in weapon resource, which is what we're actually targeting. And then projectile. I think it should be okay, honestly. And we just lowercase all of these. I don't think we're going to run into too much trouble. Yep, okay. Melee damage. Search, replacing files. Oh, it was lowercase. That's funny. Replace. Okay, weapon dot. Yep. I only expect to find that in 2 places anyway. And then, just for fun, we've got a different casing used here, which is why I'm trying to fix this up. Replacing files. Alrighty, replace all. Copy this, search, Control-Shift-R is what I want to use, Control-Shift-R. Gotta learn the hotkey when you're using it so much. Alrighty, fire range, replace, that looks okay, reload. Might as well just do the rest of them. Control-Shift-R. Can be dropped. Place all, reload. We'll go next. Search, replacing file, weapon drop, weapon DROP. Oh no, I'm gonna have to go find all the drops again. That's super annoying. Is what it is. Replace. Whoa, there's a lot of them. Weapon state machine, of course. And that replace all, reload. And it's gone. You can see it happening over the side here. Very sad. Weapon spray, project, no. Double click that, Control-Shift-R. And then S and the W, replace. Yep. Replace all, reload. Control-Shift-R. I'm not super stoked on the name for this particular variable, projectile to load, just because I wanted people to like really understand that it wasn't like a physical thing necessarily. I don't know, like just to avoid confusion with the idea of like a rigid body projectile. Incremental reload, which is for shotguns. So Control-Shift-R. So we go with that, and lowercase I here as well. Yes, that's fine. Reload. Okay, so now we have to go back through and correct these, which is going to be so much fun. So let's bring back VS Code. Obviously, you guys can't see it because I can't really have both on screen at the same time. And I mean, I could probably like go and just like paste this back over the weapon resources. Do you reckon that would work? It'd probably corrupt the file, actually. I might run into some trouble doing that. So maybe we just try on one and see what happens. So let's see if I go to open in, show in that, and I'll just close these in VS Code. I'll show you guys what I'm working with here. So I've got all this stuff that I've taken. And so now I can go open with code for Blaster Eye. Let's see if we can get away with this. Might need to close Godot while I do this. It's probably a safe bet. So I might corrupt it. I might not. This is Blaster Eye. Down the bottom here. We don't need that stuff. So we'll just start at current ammo because that's all good. See, it's still there. Like, what gives? Actually, what gives? I'm kind of a little bit annoyed. Why would you make me do it? It's still in the file. Couldn't connect. But it's not there. Blaster Eye. So maybe this isn't going to work because Blaster Eye does have that information. It just isn't, it's not, like, I actually don't know. So maybe I'm barking up the wrong tree. I can't, like, cheat the system. Which is annoying. There it goes. It was because I had it open. Okay, let's try this. Try to break it. There's like way more stuff. Alright. Let's go with that. It's not happy. Maybe if I reload the project. Low. Blaster Eye. What action should be taken? Let's just go open error away passing the player character. Well, I mean, it was a possibility, wasn't it? Okay. We can just set it back because undo is a thing. I didn't break it. It's a bit scary though. So turns out you can't manually override these figures. But like, okay, I am actually a little bit curious now. So I like pasted a bunch of stuff in, but it was not keen on that. But if I change this here, does it like, what was the number supposed to be? Was it like, magazine was meant to be, oh, you know what it was? Current ammo and reserve ammo are gone now. So I don't actually need to include those. So do you think maybe if I just copied up to here, oh, and the variables are all changed name. Look at this, they're all lowercase now. So, I mean, it's like, what's faster? Pasting it into the resource or pasting it into the file here? Writing a Python script to do it all for me. Something like that. I think someone mentioned that the other day. I need to turn that on. That's super important. Okay, so let's, well, I mean, I think I'm just going to have to paste them in manually. I tried to cheat the system. It didn't work. Let's just suck it up. You know, you wanted to make this change. You have to live with the consequences. That's just how it is. Have you and your stream volume, I can hear volume to hear you compared to 20. So, NA Games, you saying I'm quiet? Is that what it is? Let me think for a second. Okay, let me work on that. We can turn, I'm up to negative 4 dB on OBS. I forget which knob I need to turn. Oh. So we can go to 0 on that. That's like pretty high. For me, it's normal. Yeah, I was going to say like I'm in the yellow for my mic. So I'm not too sure actually. Mine's good. Okay, well, I'm glad. Shout out for letting me know anyway, but it's good to always check. So thank you for speaking up. The desktop audio is really low though. So like we could give that some volume. I probably got this turned down. I actually can't hear the desktop audio because I've got like my voice on foldback. So I can't hear the desktop much compared to what you guys can hear. So if it's annoying, then let me know because I can adjust those things. I've got I don't know if you guys can see. I got like a keyboard. I got a keyboard that I've modified, or I've got a plugin that lets me manipulate all that stuff fairly easily, so I can like switch screens, kind of like a Stream Deck, but it's just a MIDI controller that I bought like 5 years ago. Have I ever tried? Yes, I did. Thoughtbrick. I tried multiplayer and I gave it about a month. How far did I get? I actually have a video on it, and I gave up essentially because it depends what you want to do. You know what I haven't tried? I haven't tried doing P2P, so like through Steam or something like that. I think it's a little bit easier than what I was trying to do, which is like server-based multiplayer, which is a little bit more technically complicated. If you wanted to go to production, it would cost money. There's more stuff, and so what I was doing probably was too difficult for me at the time, and to be honest, probably still would be. But you know, it is something that I think is achievable for like an indie developer. It's just probably better to do it with like through Steam multiplayer or something like that. I'm not too sure. I haven't looked into it that deeply, but what I was trying to do definitely was challenging. Probably the thing is you need to learn it first before you try to make anything. That's probably the one piece of advice that I'd give to anyone that's considering multiplayer. Like, make a couple of really small in-scope things. Like if you wanted to make a multiplayer FPS game like I was trying to do, then you need to like know how to make a multiplayer game first and then make a multiplayer FPS game, because you can't start like if you downloaded my template that I have, client server. Yeah. So I was trying to do client and server, and there's a lot to learn because you have to learn like even how to use a server. Like I use Linux daily, but I don't know how to use like Linux on the server. So it was like, oh, how do I SSH into a server, and how do I even run Godot headless? Because like I didn't even know what that meant. Like Godot headless, like I was totally lost, and it took a lot of trial and error. And I managed to get like a server working, and I had both players moving around, and I could pass like a weapon. You know how like in Counter-Strike you can throw the weapon, and if it lands on someone else, they'll pick it up. And I had a scoreboard and all that kind of stuff. But what I realized was that if I wanted to do it properly, then you would need to 100% start from the server and stay there, because you can't really have like client-side stuff. You can, it's not as good though, and you might run into trouble. It just depends on what your goals are. But I only have limited experience. I mean, there's tons of YouTubers that like make multiplayer games for content, right? So like it can't be that hard, but it just depends on what you're trying to achieve, which is pretty much always the case with these things, isn't it? It's like, how far are you willing to go? Damage for 2, melee damage. I'm gonna make it 1. It used to be something else. Melee damage 2. Auto fire is true. And fire range. To be honest, I had these set to like 2,000, but like 2,100 meters in a video game is a really long distance. So I'm gonna like downgrade upgrade these to just be 100, because like the current scene has what the heck? Oh, I'm not in a scene. Hang on a second, I think I'm gonna reload the project because it was broken before. Reload current project, save and reload. So yeah, like distance is crazy. So it's so crazy when you think about like balancing weapons in video games, and you like try to be reasonable and set things up close to reality, but then reality doesn't sit well in games. So 100-meter range for a rifle, I'll just say that it's no longer accurate after that. We'll make it lore. In the lore, it's much more, it shoots much further, but it's only accurate up to 100 meters. That works. Okay, I'm a little bit lost. Right, so I was fixing these files up. Can be dropped. Yes. And I lost my code. Alright, so can be dropped, and this is going to be the really frustrating part, because I can't just like copy these in, so I might leave them till last. Go to Blaster L. This sounds like Christmas music. Is this Christmas music? Night in Venice? I've never stayed in Venice at night. I've been there during the day, but I bet you it's nice. I'll have to do that next time I go. Change. Oh, weapon stance, Blaster L, Blaster L. Okay, this is also like 30, 60 damage. Damage is 5 for this one. Why was it 5? It's so high. Let's just make it 1. This is an auto-fire weapon. We'll make the range 100. It doesn't matter because it's a projectile weapon, I believe. So, like, the range is kind of irrelevant. Can be dropped, and then we'll come back to that other stuff. Okay, what are we on? Blaster M, which is the shotgun, I believe. So the ammo is 9, and the ammo is 9, 27. Oh no, those are the wrong numbers. Magazine 9, max ammo 36. Damage is 5. The fire range is only 30 on this. That makes sense because after a certain distance you don't really want it to do damage at all. Maybe, I don't know, we could make it further actually. Let's just make it 50. And then Blaster N, which I believe is the pistol. So the magazine had 5, max ammo 15, damage 1, melee damage 0.5. I'm just gonna make it 1, and auto fire is false. Fire range, we'll go back to 100 with this, and can be dropped. So now I have to go and I go find all these pack scenes, which is going to be totally fun. I forgot my water. Hang on guys, I'll be back. Just leave you with my junk desk. Oh. Also, I forgot to turn my camera back on. Oh well. It's not like you guys want to see my face anyway. No, I don't know. Okay, where are we at? We are renaming things, which is going to be awesome fun. Alright, I'm going to move my number pad because it's like not needed right now. Okay, so the weapon drop, which is pretty simply put, the weapon that is dropped. So if I go to the player controller, spawnable objects, weapons. Okay, so that's pretty well organized. That's good. Blast eye. The spray profile is something a little bit different. Player controller. Is it going to be under... I've got spray profiles. So what weapon is this? Blaster eye, which I believe is the one that I used spray profile 1 with. And then the projectile, it's the basic one. So if I go to player controller, scripts, projectiles, no. Probably still spawnable objects, projectiles to load, and then I've got basic hit scan projectile. And then incremental reload is off for this one. A bit. Maybe even 2. I don't actually drink though. But yeah, it would probably help with this kind of like tedium of this kind of work. It is what it is. Sometimes you just have to like reorganize stuff and there's no way around it, you know? Something that I was able to learn. It took me a long time when I was a kid. I don't think I could have done any of this kind of work. Even up until I finished uni, it wasn't until I like started full-time work and I was like absolutely forced to do the most boring shit that I was able to sort of be like, okay, I can sit down and do this kind of stuff. So, I mean, I would still always try to look for like the fastest way or like an easy way out. So in a way, that's like a pretty powerful motivator to create like a lot of efficiencies in your job. So that's a good thing, but also sometimes there's just no way around it. And if it was like a personal project back in the day, like when I was younger, I might just like give up if I had to do something like this. But because of work and you don't get a choice when someone's paying you to do something, then I was able to sort of like get more comfortable with doing this kind of stuff. Yes. Anyway, player controller. What are we looking for? Weapon drop. You just chuck on some like TV or something. That's what I do when I'm working. Spray profiles. Brother, better off not... Yeah, for sure. I can't. It just... I don't know. I react... Like when I was young, like when I was in university, I used to drink a lot. But like pretty much around when I turned 25, it just... Every second I took a drink, I'd feel sick. So I just don't anymore. Sometimes I will, like if I was at a wedding or something like that and people were doing like a cheers or whatever, I'd drink then. But other than that, I'm not gonna. There's enough pain in life already to have a hangover. Weapon drop. What are we on? Blaster N. Weapon spray. I don't know which one these. I'm just gonna guess with the weapon spray. Ops. Sorry. It's all good. Bassoon? Misclick. Welcome to the stream. Weapon spray. I'm in the wrong spot because I'm not paying attention. Spray profile 2 or 3. Which do you think it is? It's not spray profile 1. You know what? I'm just gonna go with 2. Hope for the best. Projectile to load. It's a hit scan weapon, so that's super easy. I can go to spawnable projectiles, basic hit scan, and then we're good. Doesn't have incremental reload. This one does though, right? Yeah, it does. Okay, let's speed it up. We've got the weapon, spawnable objects, weapons, blaster M, weapon spray, load, player controller, spawnable objects, weapon spray profile. I'm gonna go with 3 just for fun. We're gonna have a bit of a surprise there. Projectile to load. This is also I think this is a specific one. So because it's a shotgun projectile because it's got like special stuff, special sauce that makes it work. Okay, so that's that one done. One more to go. Let's go. Load, player controller, spawnable objects, weapons, blaster, and weapon spray. Load, player controller, spawnable objects, spray, profile. I'm gonna go with 2 again. Projectile to load, player controller. This is also a hit scan weapon. One of these is rigid body, and I've chosen hit scan for it. Or something. I don't know. I've got to check that. Projectile to load. And this is a hit scan. And it doesn't have incremental. No weapon isn't used. It's old and empty and can be deleted. Because we don't use it anymore. Delete. Alrighty. I think Bassoon, the one that you said sorry about, I don't think that showed up in YouTube. I don't know. It's not showing up in YouTube chat, but it is showing up in the restream chat. So I don't know, actually, if anyone saw that. Doesn't matter. I just saw it when I checked the restream chat. I tend to favor YouTube over Twitch because I don't really have anyone watching. Oh, I have one person. Frilanxy, hello. First time chat. I didn't see you there because I just missed it entirely and I'm not paying attention. What if you had quick time dodges? Is that like, you know, in RPGs or whatever, when like there's an event happening, like someone's throwing a punch or throwing something at you and then everything sort of slows down and it's like press X? Like in Final Fantasy and a game I used to play like when I was a kid, Shenmue 2, had like tons of quick time events. In fact, that game was just quick time. I'm pretty sure. They just call it Quick Time Simulator. Has anyone played Shenmue? I loved that game when I was a kid. I thought it was so cool. Okay, so I'm actually surprised I don't have a gambling problem because of it, because I just sat and just gambled for money. That's how I paid my rent in that game. Hi Gonzalo, how are you? So now I think I've renamed everything. I do know that when I did the projectile, when I did some of the renaming, some stuff in the rigid body in the projectile class I think got renamed. So I don't know. I think this variable got renamed, so I don't think there's gonna be, actually that's not a problem because that gets set when the weapon shoots. So I think we're good to just run and see if what I've done. I'm gonna have errors I think when I run this because I have renamed a lot of variables, but we'll see. Okay. The spray profile's right because this one's like totally unhinged. It takes like 5 shots, it's up the wall. But unless I missed, did I miss the entire time? Yes, I missed both shots. Oh my god. I thought there was a problem with the like weapon damage, but turns out I just suck at aiming. Actually, this weapon's totally like fucked. So yeah, that looks right. Let's have a look at this. This is definitely not firing a projectile, but the pattern looks okay. Is this doing damage? Oh no, I changed it to a hit scan weapon. So it's right. I just need to give it a rigid body projectile. So we'll go back to, which one's that? Blaster L, I believe. So we'll go back to that. That's a scene. We didn't want to open that up. Blast it. Oh my god, I've got too much stuff open. Spawnable objects, weapon models, we don't care about those. What we want is the state machine, Blaster L, and we want the projectile to be something else. So we'll just clear that and load the player controller, weapon, spawnable objects, projectiles to load, and we'll load up a basic rigid body. And that should work for this project. Okay, happy days, back in action. I don't know, hang on, I don't think I tested the pistol. Let's have a look at that. Yeah, it looks alright. We don't want too much spray happening in the pistol. So something that's been pissing me off for like a while is the spray profile for the main rifle is atrocious. It's shocking, and I don't think I should subject people to it. So I want to look for the projectiles. I don't need to use the search because it's in spawnable objects under spray profile 1. I can't say spray profile, it's too hard. I don't know if it's like me or like just like maybe my accent's getting in the way, I don't know. But saying spray profile is really difficult for me. Okay, so the path, I think the variables here, like the multipliers, are really high. So if we just reset these, things should get better. Let's have a look somewhere I can see. That feels more reasonable. Let's have a look at that on a firewall. Yeah, it's not too bad. It's still pretty high, but it's not as bad as it was. I might turn it down. Do I have random in the mix? Yeah, I do. But that's not really... I'll turn the spray path down. This is basically meant to mimic Counter-Strike, as an example. I stole the pattern from the like AK, I think. That's not too bad. Okay, happy with that. Okay, so I think that means that the weapon resource is like fully to spec. So things are named properly, the class is named properly. Okay, the signals need to be fixed. So I forgot those. That should be fine. I'm pretty sure these are update overlay. I think would just not be used because it's for an old feature that I took out. So I'm gonna find and replace it. Whoop, as a YouTube link. Overlay, update overlay. I don't think this is in use. So if I go like replace, player scripts weapon resource signal, and we are connecting it the old-fashioned way, but that's it. I'll replace it anyway so that we avoid having errors, and zoom. And I also don't think this is in use because this was for like what's it called, aim down sights, ADS, and I took that feature out because I wasn't happy with how I implemented it. I think I'll add it back one day. I don't know when, because I'm kind of like, I want to sort of get this project cleaned up and then push it to the asset library, and then, you know, I'll update it from time to time, but I don't want to be adding too many new features to it. Hello, Cacticrown. Cacticrown? Cacticrown. Cacticrown. I know how it's pronounced, I'm right. Should be right. Right. What are we doing? Will the camera get knocked back when you shoot? It can be done. Here I'll show you. Reload current project, quick to project. I have the FPS Pro, which you could buy, but really it's for the hands, like cacti. Okay, cacti, like cactus, like multiple cactus. Weapon knockback, yeah, it's a lot of extra code, and I am not. So this is the FPS Pro. The main selling point is the rig, but I also do include like screen shake and stuff. And where is the camera? Like the amount of extra stuff that I had to do to get everything, like I've got all these tweens, I've got all these like, different variables that, so maybe I'd have to have a look at this and decide if it's worth including, because this is designed specifically to work with the rig, and the other one doesn't have a rig. So I would probably need to modify this a little bit before I put it in. Hello, amigo. Sheezy. So this one, like, you know, you've got the left to right with the, I think it's IK on the arms. The rifle, I'm not super stoked on the IK, but I think the pistol just does, like, I'm really happy with how this looks, up and down. And so that has, like, you know, the camera rolls up and the weapons sort of react programmatically to the, like, all that shake that the weapon does is not animated, it's all procedural. So that is sort of like the special sauce that I wouldn't be able to include in the other project because there is no rig. So I'd have to think about like how to do that, but maybe one day. Yeah, animating the camera is probably the easiest way to get recoil. It's like, for this one, I think, yeah, this took me like a couple of goes. Is the music for anyone? Oh, is the music a little bit too loud? I can turn it down a bit, it's no problem. I turned it up before. That was my microphone. We'll go down a touch. Oh, this is a really gross song too. It's got like this lady sort of crying in the background. It's so weird. I love the like the tiki. It's like, I don't know what the instrument is. You like, it's got like little ribbed things and you rub like a stick over it. That sounds really gross. But the instrument, whatever that's called that they're using, I really like it. But yeah, if they just took out the women thing. The music, by the way, is by Kevin MacLeod. So if you're ever looking for like royalty-free music, he's a really good one to grab. He's got tons of stuff that's just like good for the background. Tons of stuff that you hear in like reels and TikToks and stuff as well. I like to have something going in the background. Some people don't. I don't know. I'm still like, I'm not too sure. What if I've been streaming for like a week? So I don't know if I'm going to include it. Maybe if streaming does well, maybe I'll pay for a service or something like that. I'm not too sure, but I do want to include music. But yeah, I need to like, do some updates as well. Cause I've got like my own music that's royalty free. I don't know if it'd be good for the stream, but like, I know that you can get this on itch, but it's kind of buried. I need to like do it up again so that people can download this stuff if they want to use it. It's more for like, I don't think it would be good as background music, but it's something I need to like work on. Another project. Anyway, so like camera movement is like crazy, and like there's so many options. I think a lot of people lerp. Like I think, is it Lucky? You guys watch Lucky? He does like a lot of FPS Godot tutorials, and he has like a really good like short tutorial. It's like 30 minutes, and he's got like a quick way to get camera shake. Like I don't do it the same way. And I don't think people would be too happy with how I do it, to be quite honest, and be like, what are you doing? I'm a big fan of tweens. This is like, in terms of like camera shake or camera feedback from your input for this particular project, this is all that's in the process function. And all it does is head bob movement. So this is like the camera rotating when you like move. So like actually when you're stationary, that idle kind of like swaying that you see, everything else I do with tweens, simply because like you can have a lot of fine-tuned control over how it behaves. So the only thing that's happening in the process function is this like up and down. Everything else is as a tween. Like you hit the right click. It's a very quick animation for that one. I don't know why. You change weapons. Like when you go to left and right, it's just a tween, because like, why does it need to be in the process function? So like I do it a little bit differently. Most people would just use lerps. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with how this turned out. Anyway, back to the one that's on the asset library, because that's more important right now. Well, I mean, they're both important, but this one's getting the love because I haven't worked on it in like 2 months. Okay, so got a couple of other classes to work on. The other thing that I need to think about, now that I've refactored 2 scripts now. Did I just like stop the music as well? Or is it still playing? I can't hear it. What I need to do is probably turn my microphone back a bit so I can better balance. Yeah, that's better. So now I can actually hear the music myself, and I can hear myself. So I don't know, like, a lot of people don't like to hear themselves when they speak, but for me, like, I find it a lot easier to make sure that I'm sounding normal, you know? It stops me from mumbling, basically. I hear myself, and if I'm starting to sound like a mumbling Australian, then I know to check myself. Because if I wasn't paying attention to that, I'd sound unintelligible. A lot of people do find it distracting. You need good hardware, number one. So I've got an M-Box that is 1-to-1. So when I speak, I hear it immediately. There's no delay. You can't have delay. If you had delay, it wouldn't be possible. You couldn't do that. That's crazy. But yeah, but it's not for everybody. Like, the other thing, I guess, if you don't want to hear yourself, is to just take the headphones off, because obviously then you can hear yourself better. Yeah, the delay is the problem. Like, if you've ever tried to speak when someone's got their phone on speaker and you can hear yourself coming back, it's like totally unmanageable. It was a prank. This is years ago now, I was at a friend's house and they were like, oh, stick your headphones in and now try to talk. And they had it like on a 1-second delay or something like that. It's literally impossible. Like, I don't know, you just can't do that. But, and if you're just using software, like if you have like a gaming headset or something, or even like a USB, if you've got a USB, like this is an AT2020 microphone, which is like something that I think, it's affordable. It's $100 Australian. And you can get a USB version, so you don't need to buy the audio input equipment. And I don't know if you would get good foldback with that, because it's all through software, which is way slower. Like, it has to be hardware foldback. But I got lucky because I just had the equipment before I started doing YouTube. So it's not for everybody because it's expensive. It's like depending on the microphone, like if AT2020 is cheap, but like if you were getting like a Shure or a Rode, you're out of pocket like $300, and then the audio interface, I mean, you can get cheap ones for like 150, but still, it's a tall order for something that you don't know. Like, I imagine like most, like I don't make money from this, so it's like, it's hard to justify that much spend. But if you've got it anyway, then it's fine. But yeah, it's tough. It's tough. I don't know. Like, I feel it's one of those things. Like, if you want to do like YouTube or streaming or something like that, which is cool. Like, I think, like, I just like it in terms of like, I like being involved. I like talking to people about my interest. I don't know anyone that does game dev in real life, so it's cool to like jump on the internet and chat with people and like make friends or whatever. But like, yeah, the equipment is tough. I mean, you could probably do it with less, for sure. I don't know. All I know is that like I had a USB webcam for like a day, and I was like, nah, I'm gotta get upgrades. Maybe it's just me. Just a compulsive spender. I don't even know what I'm doing right now. Okay, so I've got to think. That's right, I'm refactoring this project. So when I originally started this, I was using strings as references, which is, it's a way of doing it. Let's put it that way. Using the string as a way to call up the particular weapon. It's like, listen, I'm not like a software engineer, so I don't know how bad that is. But in my opinion, it was like just okay. And then in hindsight, looking back, it was not the right decision, like in terms of the architecture for the project, because ultimately what my goal was for this particular template was that like it was a starting point, and so there's no way of like controlling, you know, the way that you pick up weapons. It was infinite, and there was no way of like managing that outside of just passing a string reference into the function for pickup weapon, right? So it made it difficult if you wanted to add a inventory. It made it difficult if you wanted to control the number of weapons that you held, and all these other things that people want to add to their game. You're not going to put it in the template because, you know, you don't know what people want to do, but you need to provide like a good starting point, especially if there's a lot of beginners downloading it. And so what I've done at the moment is change it so that there's not only a weapon resource, like you create a resource for your weapon, but you also have weapon slots, and you can define how many you have. So if we go to the weapon manager now, you've got max weapons, and the weapon stack, I probably want to change that variable name, because now it's just going to be the weapons. Like, is weapon stack a good name for that variable? I don't know. Like, I think maybe it needs to change. Because right now it's just the number of weapons that you have, and we don't need the weapon list. I'm pretty sure that's not even in use anymore, because it doesn't matter anymore how many weapons are in the game, because you pass that resource to the manager when you pick up the weapon. So it doesn't need to know about all weapons that exist anymore, which is, I think, an improvement, right? Spray profiles are still necessary. I guess I would say that most of these variables are still in use. Melee shake, probably not. Let's comment that out and see what happens. Melee shake magnitude, I don't think so. Remnants from another time, maybe for a video or something, I don't know, actually. Next weapon is definitely still there, because I was struggling like with the other night with that really badly. We've got spray profile, yep. Count 0, yep. Current weapon slot equals null. Oh yeah, that's definitely in use, because I think that's what I'm using to like operate, yeah, on the weapons. So we've created a weapon slot, and right now, so one of the challenges that I had with creating weapon slots and being able, so having it so that the weapon manager didn't also like have access to all the weapon resources. One of the reasons I decided to do that is because resources are, I don't know what the right word is. It's on the docs. Resources are uniquely capable of storing data. Returns once loaded from disk. The further attempts to load a resource return the same reference. They can also be nested within other references, are reference counted and when freed, since they inherit from ref counted. So basically, this little part here where it says that that they're loaded from the disk and it's always the same reference. It basically means that like you can't have multiple instances of resources. It just doesn't work that way. So it's funny because like when I started this whole journey like a year ago, I would have been like, you know, there's an argument for using a node instead of a resource for a weapon. Like if it's a node, then you can have multiple instances of it, which it just means you need to be loading in a lot of nodes. And so like, in a way, it's more resource intensive to use classes for your weapons, but you get the benefit of not having to worry about how much ammo is on your resource. Yes, no, resources aren't static data. That's part of the problem, right? So like what I was trying to get to, I got a bit lost there, is that if you have a weapon resource and it's the weapon you're using, and also there's a weapon on the ground that has that resource, when you use ammo, it's going to tick down on both of those resources. It's the same resource. That's the thing. So you need a separate thing that is not referenced. So essentially, that's why I've got this weapon slot, which holds the weapon resource and also tracks the ammo, because the weapon resource can't track the ammo anymore since it can exist in multiple locations. It's more of a way of saying, these are all the things that it does, the damage it does, the things it needs to load into the world when it takes a shot, when you drop it, all that kind of stuff. But current ammo, reserve ammo, probably some other things as they go along aren't possible to be in there anymore. So right now, these are the only two variables I have in the weapon slot. I mean, yeah, what you want them to be is unique. So like, you can duplicate them, but then like this whole exercise becomes pointless. You know? Yeah. It's like if you can go weapon resource load dot duplicate or something like that, and it will create a unique version, but then you can't check them to see if they're the same. So like, you would have to come down to where you pick up the weapon. Where is that? Drop, change weapon. Where's pickup weapon? It's on pickup detection. So this is passing in the rigid body, and we're getting the slot body.weapon. So if you were just passing in the resource and you made it unique because you didn't want the ammo to be tracked across both the one on the ground and the one in your hand, because obviously you don't want that, then you would no longer be able to check if slot.weapon is equal to weapon slot.weapon to see if you already have it, right? You'd have to think of a different way. Maybe you could check the name, maybe you could have an ID, something like that, but you still need a way to check. Yeah, I don't know. Like, there's a lot of extra stuff. At that point, you might as well just use classes because it's going to be easier for you. So sticking with resources for now, there's just a couple of extra steps that we have to go through. And I still think it's better because the weapon slot can be a resource, and this is just lighter in general for now. And if I want to make one with classes, I'd just do it from scratch. Like, you know, I just wouldn't use this project if I wanted to switch to using classes for weapons, which I used to do like 2 years ago, which worked fine, to be honest. But there are some things that you have to overcome with that as well. So, you know, there's benefits and limitations to both. But I think this is okay. What I wanted to do, so that now that there's a limit, so I've got, where is it? Max weapons in the weapon manager. So now you can define how many weapons that you pick up. But I want there to be a way to make it infinite. So I want this to be like, if it's set to -1, I guess, or 0. Maybe if it's just set to 0, then it's infinite. Because, well, who wants it to be 1? Like, who wants it to be 0? I'm pretty sure it's going to crash if it's 0, right? Or it's just not going to let you pick up weapons. Or it is infinite. Is that the trick? 0 is infinite? Maybe I don't need to add any extra code for that. I'll just get that for free. I don't have any more other weapons to add in to check. But it's definitely more than if I just had that set to 1, right? I can't pick up any now because I've already got one. I can't change weapons because that's not an option. So that's something I have to think about too, like giving a default ability to change the weapons. All right. Okay, so that's built in. I don't need to do anything. Which is, that, I mean, yeah, we get that for free. That's nice. Okay, what's next? We've got the weapon slot, weapon resource. What else does this need? So right now, I'm trying to think about like how it all works together. When you pick up a weapon, it just adds a slot. So like you have you only add slots when you need them, if that makes sense. It's not like you can have 5 slots. If you did this, when you change weapons, it would crash. Actually, it doesn't even load, right? Because it loops through all of them and it adds them to like a UI element. So like, I mean, realistically, you wouldn't have that in the game. That's for debug, but still, you're probably going to run into issues. So I don't know if that's like, well, I've got the max weapons. That's how I'm getting around that, right? So, and then if you wanted to make it so like you had like a specific slot for like primary weapons, secondary weapons, or like shotguns or whatever, that would be something I guess we would expect the person downloading it to implement themselves, because it's not there, right? Like I don't think because that's like 2 separate paths, you know. Some people don't want that and some people will, and I don't think it can build it in such a way that it can do both, if that makes sense. Don't know. Oof. What's my trash? My trash desk behind me is like really pissing me off. I'm gonna fix that real soon. It's like, what have I got? I've got like battery charger, an old phone with a cracked screen that I don't use anymore, a dongle that I've got that I'm going to use for some content, a guitar. Oh, how do I move my hand? I've got a guitar stand. The plan is this desk disappears and behind me I'm going to have guitars. I don't know if that's like, I mean, I don't know what to put behind me in terms of like, you know, like people have backgrounds. I've just got like a white wall and I don't think that looks good. So that I got 2 options, right? Like I dress up the wall behind me, or I get a green screen and I just like blank out everything. I don't know. Like I still can't figure out what to do. I've got the guitar stands already, you know? So like I might as well hook them into the wall. And plants, yeah, fake ones, because I can't be bothered looking after them, you know? And then some neon signs. Yeah, neon signs, that's like really popular. I think what I need to do is also like probably invest in some lighting, because this is a white wall, right? So like if I like turn off the it's like country music playing, like a Godot neon sign icon, yeah, that would be cool. Like yeah, I wonder if I could find custom signs like that. And then what else have I got? Glasses case. I've got a pile of receipts for things that I've spent money on that I need to like put into data somewhere. Yeah, I know. My wife's really into like plants and stuff, but like I don't know if I want them inside my house. Yeah, there definitely would be. The thing is, like, custom stuff, number 1, it's really expensive. And number 2, like, at least where I live, like in Queensland, Australia, there's just not many people doing stuff like that. And the people that do are like, yeah, they're going to charge me like shitloads of money. Or like be really difficult about it for no reason because they work for commercial and I'm just some guy. Anyway. So thoughts on the background. I definitely need to do something about this desk. Guitars and a neon sign could work. I think that would look cool. And then maybe even a plant as well. I don't want to put like... See, the thing is, I don't like stuff on the ground. This sounds like really kind of OCD and weird, but I cannot stand when there's things on the ground. I want things to be like... I'd need to put a shelf. Like I'd need to mount a shelf on the wall so there's no legs on the ground. Like I've got the desk. I was almost going to wall mount this desk that everything sits on, but I could not be bothered because it's just a lot of effort and then I'd need to wreck the wall and I didn't want to wreck the wall. So, but yeah, I hate having things on the ground. So I probably won't put a plant down, and if I do, it will be a small one on a shelf. Here comes the vibes. Hey, vibing game dev, what is up? That's a cool name. Wish I had a cool name like that. Nah, my name's alright. Alrighty. We should probably get back on track instead of like being distracted by like what's in the background. So I almost forgot to change. Could you imagine? I go back to working, but I just leave it on the camera. It's just staring at my face while I look at my screen. That would be hilarious. But we'll avoid that for now. First time chat. Okay, awesome. Great. How am I doing? I'm doing great. I worked today. It was very boring. I'm an accountant, so like it's a boring kind of job. And we have this thing called month end, which is like, it's just like, if you kind of imagine being on the most boring merry-go-round of life that you could ever be on, where you just, every time the first day of the month rolls around, you have to sit down and do like a bunch of really boring hard work, and then you do it all again next month. And then once a year it gets even harder. And there's people that come in from like other companies and ask you questions about shit you do. It's super annoying. But yeah, my day was good. I did some cleaning. Just like I'm doing cleaning here, I did cleaning at work. Cleaning with numbers, not cleaning with brooms. But yeah. How is your day going, vibing game dev? Do you vibe with the game dev? Awesome vibes. My vibes are feeling pretty good. I don't know. Do you have... Here's a question for the Gen Zers. Are vibes things you could have? Can you say that you've got good vibes, or did someone else have to say that about you? I feel like it's something that people need to say about you. You can't claim to have good vibes, but you can say the vibes are good where you are. It's not something that you can possess. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just saying dumb shit. I'm sorry. I'm old. So, what the hell am I doing? I've gotten totally distracted. I'm making this better. How can I make it even better? I think I've refactored all of this stuff so it looks nice and tidy. Maybe these signals are old-fashioned, so I should do them better. Make signal better. Someone needs to say it to you, because that's where I got vibing, and my other usernames was vibe. And yeah, so it is something people need to like feel about you rather than you can feel it about yourself. People like your vibes. I like your vibes, so I guess that's true. Okay, so I need to go to weaponresource.connect. So this would actually be, instead, it would be weapon resource dot update overlay. That's right. I'm planning to make this all typed as well. Dot bind. Dot connect. And load overlay texture is the function. Right there. And that would be the correct way to do it for Godot 4. Right, and then let's, while we're at it, rename this function because it's just bad. Load overlay. I hope this hasn't been called in too many locations. And then we'll highlight that and we'll go to edit. Convert case, lowercase. Does anyone know a hotkey for that? Because I'm going to need to do it a lot. And this is cranky now, so we can copy that and paste it back there. Okay. We've got a couple of other signals. seems to work. Load overlay to HUD. Oh, that's, I mean, I just did some work that for a function that doesn't even get used in this project anymore. Connect weapon to HUD is an important one because without that, the you know, the hit marker wouldn't show up. So that's what that does. Add signal to HUD on weapon manager. Add signal. There's got to be like a better way, right? Like maybe I could make a function where it's just like add any kind of signal, and it's like it's going to take the thing and maybe with string references. I don't know. I'd really like a cleaner way so I didn't need like to have a signal for every signal, if that makes sense. I think I need a singleton to do that properly. Actually, this is a weapon resource. Sorry. Okay. And then this one here, the correct syntax for Godot 4 would be projectile.hit successful. Is that still uppercase? Okay, hit successful. Dot connect, and then on weapon manager hit successful, like that. And so now we should still get an X when we make a good hit, and we do. Great. Awesome. Okay, so let's keep going. Delete these commented ones, so now it doesn't have that. I wonder if I have any more old stuff from Godot 3 left over from this project. What's it called? I like literally deleted it. So it's connect as a function, but I'm still gonna, like, I can't really search for it because it's like, it still looks this way. It's just on the other thing. Convert to lowercase. I can't see because there's a thing over in the way. Hang on a second. Switching around. Convert to lowercase. Shift F5 on your system. Does that work for me? No, it does not work. I need to probably check like the key bindings for KDE. I could probably find out. Oop. Lowercase shortcut. I'm going to assume that it's being done by the desktop manager. Common KDE shortcuts. Lowercase shortcut. Nothing's coming up. Maybe it's because it's DuckDuckGo. Let's try Google. I'm not that interested in privacy. Is there a way to change case? Oh, yeah, the Manjaro forum shortcut for special characters. Compose. This is too complicated. Why is it always got to be like this in Linux? Editor settings. Shortcuts. Lowercase. Ah. Oh, frick, there's a thing right there. Lowercase, none. Okay. And would you say Shift F5? I don't think that was bound to anything, so we'll go with that. Shift F5. Kind of hard to reach, but it'll work. Thank you for that. So now I should be able to just go, yep. Nice. That's going to make this so much easier because I still have tons of scripts to go through and fix that tiny little error up. That just made me look like a total noob. Okay. So this all looks good. Happy with that. Let's just jump back over to... Yeah, no, that's really helpful. Let's jump back over to the player script and just see if I can find anything. Jump gravity. Oh, that is actually, that's correct. I was going to say that's wrong. Okay, I'm sort of like pretty happy with the state this is in now. I think it's good for like a push. Oh, excuse me. These should be replaced. As it says here, you should replace the UI actions with something else. So I should do that. We just go up, down, left, right. And then just make them W, S, A, D. Okay, close, and then we can just make these. That was left, I almost wrote up. That would be pretty funny. Oh, jeez. All over the place. Right. Up. Down. Okay, that's pretty good. Here's another question for you all. So I was playing Refactor, the original one from 2001 or whatever, and I noticed that when you're running, when you jump, acceleration in the air is much lower. But for this particular project, I'm not doing anything when you're in the air. So there's no change to how you can move. You can totally stop. There's no deceleration or anything like that happening. If you take your hand off W, it just stops. Do we think that there needs to be some kind of change to the movement? Is that something we want to put in, or something we want to leave up to the people that download this project? Because I kind of think maybe I could set up a general solution that used like export variables. So like you could have, you know, I've got like tons here already for different things. If you want like toggle crouch, you've got lean left and lean right. There's not even an option to turn that off. I should probably add that, right? Like not everyone wants to lean. Sprint, same thing. Like there should be a toggle for this. These are things I'm thinking about now. Jump parameters, I don't need to worry about like adding a toggle for that. Most people want to jump. Movement should be something that the user should work out on their own. Yeah, I think so. Like there's a lot here because it is specifically for FPS. So there's the things that you would expect, but like if you wanted specific movement, like I don't even use a script like this when I make movement. I set up like a state machine, but like I just wanted to have something here to show off, like not show off, but I guess like I made a bunch of tutorials and it was like I kind of have to include it. So I did. But yeah, most people adding this, their own movement. Yeah. Right? Like everyone has their own way of doing that. All right, so we won't worry about that. But I do want to add a checkbox for some of these optional, to basically make all of the movement optional. Air control, yeah, that's the other option, right? Like I've got all this stuff already. Add toggle switches to all of it. They're on by default, but you can turn them off. Just delete this script. It's not really that important when it comes to like the weapon manager. Like the weapon manager is here. You really just need the script. You don't even need anything below it. It's the same thing. It really just takes an animation player, a hitbox, and then you just need to add the weapon resources. You don't need anything else. So the player script is probably, it depends. Like I get a lot of people contacting me trying to do like expecting more from this than what I think it should be expected to do. Right? Like realistically, it's just an example. Like if you've never made an FPS game and you want to see what one could look like, I'm not saying it's good. I'm not saying it's bad, but it's like if you just wanted to see how someone else did it, it's available, right? But some people, I think, especially since the Unity debacle, have downloaded this expecting it to be something that they can use to make a game. Like I don't know if you guys have used Unity, because I get the impression that some of those templates that you can download from I guess that's what they call it, like asset swapping, right? Because you just download some kind of template from the Unity asset store and then you just swap out the assets because it all just works. It's fully contained, right? So like since then, I think a lot of people have come over from Unity, found this, downloaded it, and then they're contacting me like, can you add this? Can you add that? And it's like, it's not really what it's for, and I don't want to. I don't know if that makes sense. But like, yeah, I do want to call this finished at some point. I got my own game to make. Not that I actually like working on it, but like, yeah, I don't want to go overboard. part of me thought maybe the one that I sell, like I could turn that into like a full template, but the scope is just a lot, you know? Okay, so I do want to add like a bull to this. And I call it enable lean. It's a bull, it'll be equal to true. Because at the end of the day, this is what I use as a basis for my own game. So I think if someone wants to use it as a starting point, that's great, but it's not going to be an entire game that you can just flip the assets. Equals true. Speed sprint. Speed parameters. Now I just have to like implement these. So let's look at lean first. I feel like that's going to be the easiest. I think I'm controlling this all with the input. It's interesting. Like I went from using like a process. So I used to always put my input checks in process. And basically like when I was learning Godot, I started off learning to put the input checks in process. And then I hated that. And I learned how to do like a finite state machine with multiple nodes. And then I never looked back. But then when I made this, I used the input function. And I just want to type that. Input. And using the input to control your inputs is way better than process. And it turns out that you can have a lot more control over things if you're doing it here rather than the process function. So right here is where I'm doing all of the checks for lean. So I'm checking if the action is released. So there's a specific order that I need to check things in so that they don't happen at incorrect points. So basically I need to check if either of them are released, or if there are some still pressed, then it's going to go to center. So that's the condition for center. And then it checks if there's a press for left or right. So what I need to do is just go if lean enabled. What's the name of the... I think I copied it. Enable lean. Then I can just indent this and, well, it's set to true by default. So it should still be able to lean. And then if I uncheck that, now you can't lean anymore. So that's perfect. Super easy. Nice and simple to implement that. And we can do the same with enable crouch. Let's just copy that so I don't make any mistakes. And I think this is a little bit more complicated maybe. If action is pressed, if action is released, crouch. How often, where am I calling this function? Is it just this? We've got 5 matches, crouch. If function crouch, obviously. And in the physics process, if we've like, if you've crawled into a hole and you take your finger off the crouch button, then it enters into this loop to say that you're crouched. I don't think we're going to need to do a check here to make sure crouch is enabled, because if you've made it to that point, crouch is definitely enabled. So I can safely put that into the check here. I suppose I could have put it in the crouch function as well. Same with this. I could have also put that in the lean function itself, because it's being called. It takes a constant, like an enum, to determine where to go. So we can go if enable crouch, and then that. And so that still works. What's your guys' take on crouch toggle versus holding crouch? When I was younger, I used to prefer like holding crouch, but now these days I much prefer toggle. It's just easier. And now that doesn't work. That's great. Oh, it's too easy. Oh well, last stream was a total nightmare, so you know, happy to have something simple this time. All right, so let's go and look at sprint, because that's the other one I just added in. Enable sprint. This one might be a little bit more complicated. So we've got here, right, okay, so this is, I mean, realistically, like if input action just pressed, like it's just these three again for the different like sprint timer start, walk speed, we're just modifying the speed with a constant. It's a multiplier actually, I think. So we're going to do the same thing, if enable sprint. And I should check myself because I don't think that's to spec, and the whole thing that I've been doing is to try and get to spec, because GD script spec standard. It's kind of funny, like I'm trying to get good at it because I make a lot of videos about it, and I want it to be something that's closer to what they want. What do they do? I think it would be most correct to say like true, equal to true. I'm trying to find an example. Trailing comma, blank lines. They don't really say. Avoid unnecessary parentheses. Okay, that's not really like... But they do have an example where they aren't actually doing a check, so I think it's okay for me to do that as far as the specification is concerned. So I think that's okay for me to do. Prefer plain English versions of Boolean operators as they are most accessible. Use and instead of double ands. Use or instead of that. It's funny, I mix this up so much. I use or and I use and, but I'll use the exclamation mark for not all the time. Oh, yes. Okay. But they don't say anything about needing to like print out the true or type out the true. Okay, awesome. So I'm right to just do that. Okay, so that's good. Enable lean, enable sprint. Let me just check that one. And that works. Great. I'm pretty sure it's shift. Nothing's working, so I'm assuming it's working properly. Cool, shift and control. Shift for run, control for walk. Okay, I don't like this song. It's backed vibes, because the vibes are backed, and it's by Kevin MacLeod. Do you guys like jazz? I don't know, I like jazz. Okay, what is the time? It's almost time to log off, because I have to go to sleep, because I have a job. Actually, I've been thinking like maybe I stay later. Like I wake up really early. I wake up at like 5 a.m. So maybe if I just like slept until 7, I could just stay like online for longer. I don't know. Like it's I do like waking up early though. It's nice. You know, there's no one around. You can sort of like just take your time. It's quiet. and then the sun comes up. I don't know about you guys, if you're morning people, like there's like this feeling where the dawn is just hitting and there's like a smell in the air. It's probably the dew, but it's like, it's so good. It's getting a bit cold here at the moment. So I'm not spending much time outside in the morning, but like in the summer, like go outside and eat your breakfast when the sun's sort of coming up. The sun comes up like hella early in the summer, but you know, there's a certain point where that's just like so good. I say that like, oh, I'm outside, I crashed anyway. Maybe it's a sign. I say that and it's it's me just like scrolling Instagram reels outside, enjoying the sun on my phone. Oh my goodness. Surveillance cameras, but no, I do. You know, I did make a project, Thought Brick, a very long time ago for surveillance cameras. Do I have a copy? We can keep going a little longer. I have a project from Godot 3.5 days. I don't even know. Do I have a copy of 3.5? 3.5 stable. Digital camera. You're looking for surveillance cameras. That's a very old project of mine. I've got it in the archives. Do I have it here? Exports. I do have an archives folder. Digital camera CRT project. This is it here for sure. Where do I go? Development? No. Godot. What's the path? You guys can't see. I just realized I have my camera on my face because I. That's good because I accidentally doxed myself. Okay. CRT TV. There's no project file. What's going on? Godot FPS, media, title F. Okay, so this is just not it. CRT TV, Godot. Okay, this is definitely it. So that's the path. Go up one. Okay. Still can't. Bear with me. I'm going to pull it up. I know it. It's CRT TV project. Import and edit. Okay, here we go. We can switch back. Let's see if it runs. I haven't opened this project for like 2 years, but I did make a CRT system at some point, right? Like, there's a whole video on it. It was really cringe. I did like an intro where like there was a video of me introducing the video in Godot. Okay, so it's like really upset. Let's just open anyway. Check it out. I don't know, but I thought maybe using a camera 3D as an input in the project onto a plane. All right, so what you need to use is a viewport, a sub viewport specifically. So I don't know what's going to show up. This is my like fun little project. Is it going to run? The ground has no texture, but there's a TV. Yeah, see, look, there's got like videos on it, and this is the actual scene. You can't see the player because obviously it's just a cube. Ugh, gross. It's like this creepy dude walking. And so that is in the project somewhere. We can do this in Godot 4. It's really easy, actually, now that I think about it. Open project manager, yes. Just close that. And I'm going to go back to my camera because there's some stuff on here that I don't want to show you guys while I open up Godot 4. And we just go new project, I guess. This can be a new project. CRT 4.0. There was like a whole shader and everything, but we won't worry about that for now. create. No, I don't want to create it there. In Godot. Select current folder, create folder, create and edit. Okay. So say you're doing this in 3D, right, ThoughtBrick? Let's just bring some stuff in to the project. I need to like organize my folders so I don't like accidentally show people's things that I don't mean to show. Let me just grab some assets. Yeah, you're doing it 3D. Yeah, it makes sense. It would be weird if it wasn't. Archives, archives, archives. CRT. So we want the TV, right? The TV monitor, which is a TV material. Yep, new spatial. Let's just take the GLB file and hope that it works. Open in File Manager. Drop that in, and we also get some textures so we're not looking at grey. Godot, GitHub repos, FPS template, example world, script. Actually, to be honest, let's just bring the whole FPS controller over so that we can use that to move around. I think I've still got FBXs in my import. I don't mean to have FBXs there. We'll just wait for this to load up. So relatively, all you need to do for like a security camera system is to have like a camera and a sub viewport and then a way to get that onto the 3D plane. And that can be a little bit tricky. So let's see, let's just create like a really quick example here. We want a CSG mesh, right? CSG combiner, and we will add a box to it. And we'll just make this like pretty big. Whoa. We'll make it, Y is not the direction I want to be doing that in. Okay. And we want like a flipping texture on this, because otherwise it's, I hate looking at this grey shit. Albedo. Let's put the dark. And then switch that to UV1. Okay, awesome. So we've got that, and we want to have our player so that we can move around the scene. Player character, that's fine. That should just work out of the box. Let's give this a run, and we'll select current, and we'll save it. We've got turn collision on. We have no environment. We have no world node. So let's set that up. Okay. So it takes a little bit of setup. You get in a live tutorial though. So we will make this the scene root, and we will give this collision. Layer 1 is fine. We'll move that. We will add the environment to the scene as well, and the sun, so that we can see what we're looking at. Okay. We have no movement. We go up, down, left, right is all we need really. We probably need mouse input as well. Should have just taken the project, made a copy of that, rather than do it from scratch. Sorry. Okay, we're good. We're good. We can move around. All right, so the next thing we need realistically is we just need like a mesh. We'll just do it with a mesh. We don't need to do anything fancy here, right? It just represents like the screen that you would see the security camera on, right? So that can just be probably a plane. tube? No, we want a plane. We don't want a quad. And that's going to need to have like a special texture on it. And then we also need to have a camera, right? A second camera, probably a sub viewport, actually. And does it need to be in a sub viewport container? I don't remember. You know, I've done this like a little while back. It's funny, I'm doing all this setup, but I'm reload, quit. I think I've actually, sorry, I forgot, but where is it? Test project? I think it's like buried. I didn't want people to see it. I didn't want it to be in the main project. Give me a second. GitHub repos. Looking Glass. I was working on a project where I wanted to recreate the opening scene from Prey, but I got like majorly distracted on the glass, and so it just turned into breakable glass. It was a total nightmare. Anyway, within this scene is something that represents what Looking Glass from that game looked like. That is no longer visible. Why isn't it visible? We have all this set up. Let's get rid of all the glass and shit, because that's super annoying. Looking Glass. Breakable glass. Let's just delete that. Doesn't work anyway. So this is not what you're looking for, but it is pretty similar to what you're looking for, right? This is a mesh, and there's actually a room around this mesh, but you can't, the player can't see it, the player can't interact with it. And I don't know if you played the game Prey from 2017, it's kind of like that was in there. And when you shoot the glass, it breaks, but I don't think it does. Oh no, it does. It's got like a basic breakable glass system on it. So that's what I was working on, but we can take this and we can do something pretty similar to what you're looking for. So the basis for this, if we go to the Looking Glass and we make it local, is that we've got the whole glass, we've got the broken glass, which is literally just a bunch of rigid bodies. Yeah, it doesn't look too bad, but it's like technically not procedural, and I got really caught up. So this is what happens when you're trying to like do something and you want it to look like really nice. And the broken glass is literally just a bunch of rigid bodies that spawn when you shoot the glass. But technically, like, you want there to be like more breakage when you shoot them. Anyway, it turned into like a whole thing for like a month. I totally went off the rails with it. Anyway, so the plane needs to have a special material on it. So this is what you need if you want to do a security camera, right? So like, it's a really simple shader. You want it to be unshaded, and you need a reflection texture. In this case, I call it a reflection texture, but yours could be the camera screen or the camera texture or something like that. And it's basically albedo, texture, the variable you created, vec2, screen UV, screen UVY, screen UVX, .rgb. And it literally will just be the camera, right? Because, well, it won't be the camera. You need to pass in a sub viewport. So that's the next step, right? So we've got, I don't know where the camera is in this scene. We've got a sub viewport and we've got a camera. So these are the other two things you need. And it needs to be, well, it depends what you're drawing, right? So if we wanted to draw the whole scene, we would draw layer 1, because that's basically everything. And this scene that's behind it is on Visual Instance 5. So it's not visible, but everything else is on layer 1. So if you did that and you hit play, it's going to be pink, because sub viewports can be kind of annoying like that. So that's the tricky bit, right? So this works, but not all the time. And it's mostly due to the fact that Godot hates you. Surface material, new standard material. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to do that. I still want it to be reflection texture, sub viewport. And now it's pink for some reason, and it doesn't make any sense. It's so annoying. Like, the sub viewport is maybe because there's recursion or something like that. I don't actually know. Where's the camera? It's supposed to be on top of the player, so that's probably an issue. Probably? I don't know. Let me think for a second. Let me have a look at the code. So it's got an active camera target, and we are setting the position of the LG camera to the camera target, which is the player in this case. And we've got an LG viewport. What are we doing with that? LG viewport. We're setting the target resolution because we want it to be matching the actual mesh, which is actually, it's just set to the screen size. Fair enough. So, what else are we doing with the viewport? Just in case there's something in here that's fucking with it. Nothing. Great. But let's just comment out this code because we don't actually want it to follow the player anymore. We're going to do something else. So instead, let's just imagine for a second that this camera is in a fixed static position, or you could even animate it, right? Like you could, if you were doing security cameras, like it would just be animated. Where is this pointing? Jesus. Let's not do it like that. And let's, for the sake of not drawing the same thing over and over again, although that would work in theory, like there really shouldn't be any issues with that. Let's just point it away from that, and let's just fix up this Z rotation. So we'll point it over there, and I still don't know why we're seeing pink. Viewport texture, sub viewport. Viewport, where is it? It's the first one in the list. Okay, and now it's going to show up. Will it show up when we run the game though? Yeah, it will. And it's a little bit weird because it's tracked to the camera of the, it's tracked to the screen. So it's always going to show you what you're looking at on, which is not how TVs work, right? But like we can fix that up. So right now it's tracked to the screen UV, which is super weird to look at, but we can map that to the texture UV instead. So let's change the shader. Instead of screen UV, we're just going to replace it with the UV. And so it should just be over the, in theory, it's upside down. Let's flip it up. And if we run it, fingers crossed, the resolution's a little bit weird, but that's essentially what you want. And now I think, like if can I get on camera with this box? I don't know if I'll show up. Let's get over there. Yeah, see, you can see the box on camera. So that's essentially a TV. Like that's a security camera right there. Like fix up the resolution. So basically what you would do is in this script, instead of setting the target resolution to be the vector 2, it would be like, have we got the mesh? Have we got access to the mesh? The plane? I don't think so. Well, yeah, I used to play around with viewports all the time. It's really fun. So it would be plane dot get size. It might error out because that's a vector 2 and this is needing a vector 2i. Yeah. Okay, that's just the wrong function call for like a mesh. I think it needs to be plane dot plane.mesh.size, and it's not a function call, it's just a parameter. Let's see how we go there. Still not happy. Invalid on array mesh. Oh my god, it's an array mesh? Why is it an array mesh? That's annoying. What's the size of the array mesh? So if you want it to look right, you're going to need to make it a, we'll make it a plane. This is going to have to reset up everything. Can I undo that? The surface material override. So instead, can we move that to the material override? And so then when I change this, it won't like fuck things up too much. Make it a plain mesh. Basically, know the size of your mesh. Because if you're using like an imported mesh, then you won't be able to get that information as easily if you're just using a plain mesh, which has a parameter of size. Looks like that's still all good. Is that upside down? I can't tell. It kind of looks upside down. No, it's all right. And let's just make this like 50, 5 by 5. So it's a little bit bigger and better to look at. Let's try again. Oh, that is not what we want. It's 5 by 5, but it's not like, we want it to be in the same ratio. We don't want it to be. So maybe this is something you're just going to need to, I don't have time to think about like the best way to do that. We could make it like, just times it by like, it's 5 by 5. So if I times it by 100, it would be 500 by 500, which should be a reasonable size for that mesh. Which, there you go. And so now that looks like a lot more reasonable as a resolution. Well, as a it looks a lot more reasonable. It's not stretched, right? So that's your TV, man. And then you can just like animate the camera. So like, say you go and find the camera, you just add like an animation player. You don't really have to do much else. It depends what you want, right? And then I'm guessing if you want detection, that's something I haven't done that before. It wouldn't be that complicated. You just put like a raycast out of that camera, and if it sees the player, then it sends like a signal, right? So for the animation, you just go like move, and we can key up the rotation here as a starting point, and then we'll make it like 10 seconds, and then we'll go to like, we'll go like this, right? And we'll make that looping. I think it'll ping back and forth. Looks sick. You can see it in the editor too. That's cool that they do that. I want it to be like this. What's the time? It's past my bedtime, guys. Yeah, that's sick. That's exactly what you want, right? And then you just hit play. Shit. Why is it not working? No. Yes. Yeah, you can't understand. I have like an entire video on it. It's for Godot 3.5, but the concepts are still there. I didn't ever cover detection. Autoplay in the, oh yeah, thank you. That button. That's what I was missing. Thank you, Fruit Dude. Yeah. And then, yeah, oh look, it's me. But yeah, like that's really all there is to it. You just got to pretty it up and probably include some detection, because otherwise, like I'm guessing if you want to do this, like you're doing detection, right? Ooh, does it still break? Does it still break? Wait, where's my camera? I lost my keybinds. It doesn't work. I need to set up the shader on this one. That'd be sick though, if it did. I wonder if the looking glass, not this looking glass, the breakable glass still works in this project. I totally abandoned this, but I think one day I'll try to come back to it, because I was onto something really cool. Broken glass.tsn. No, that's not it. It's got to be in menu scenes cube test. Cube. Right? Like this is just some glass. And then I think this was a different thing. Oh, I think I broke it. Guys, I think I shouldn't have clicked that. No, it seems okay. It just doesn't work at debug. No, okay. I don't know. It's not working. That's not it anyway. Glass? Looking glass. LG scene. Looking glass. Not it? Oh, I really want to find it now. Glass break. Breakable glass. This is it here. And it was a total nightmare. So basically the point of it was, like, you would be able to... Let's just delete all this other stuff. Oh, it's not happy now. Oh, I deleted the collision shape. Shouldn't have done that. So what I was trying to make is like procedurally generated meshes that would essentially break at a certain point. So you'd have like a point and then a texture, a target mesh and all this kind of stuff. And you would break it and it would generate like a bunch of nodes like these ones for like the broken glass. But like, yeah, I got it working really good and then realized it only worked on the mesh that I was making. And then when I tried to expand it to any kind of mesh, I couldn't get it to work. And I just spent like ages on it. It just didn't work. So it looks, I mean, it's still kind of scuffed, but it's not too bad for this one. Let's see if I can fix it up. So you add like a bit of randomness to it. Not a lot. And if you bake it, like, look how good that could look, you know? And they're all like physicsy. And so the problem that I ran up against, like that looks good and is passable, you know? Like if you shot glass and that, because that point would be wherever you shot it and it broke that way, you would think that looked good as like a visual effect. But then when I ran into trouble is like doing it on any other mesh, because the whole goal of this was to make it like recursive so that you could break other meshes. So if you went down to this other mesh here, if we like make everything else hidden so that we can just see this mesh. I don't know where the other ones are. Bleh, there's too many. Anyway, so if we just come down to this mesh and we do the same thing, it don't work. Right? I don't know what happened. And that's as far as I got. I couldn't get it. But, you know, it was a nice idea. Anyway, guys, that is me for the night. This is the stream ending. And we'll play something out. What do we want to listen to? I've got my own stuff. Let's, now that I've got that, files, BG music. What am I feeling? Probably something happy. Let's play this. This is a good song. This is called Pyromania. Turn it up. It's about wanting to quit your job and just like run away forever. I wrote it back in 2017. Anyway, guys, like, subscribe, follow if you're on Twitch, join the Discord, all that kind of stuff. Shout out to the Patreons. I still haven't added a screen where I can shout them out on stream. But if you want to support the channel, you can always do so over on the Patreon. But don't feel like you have to if you don't have the money. It's fine. Other than that, guys, this has been really fun. I don't know if I'm going to do this every night, but I've been doing it like every second night, and that won't work because I'm busy on Friday, but we'll see. You'll see me again because I've been enjoying streaming. It's been fun.